Hey, ladies, welcome to Black Women Making Money. We're the home of the upwardly mobile Black woman. So, as you are coming in, please hit the like button for me. And today's session should be something special. I think it's going to kind of be short because I have something that I want to share with you, just really something to think about with regards to some of the recent news that has happened and how Cassie and Sam Altman are similar. How their what they went through was actually similar. And you may say, well, Cherie, that sounds crazy. Cassie was part of hip hop. She sued Diddy, and Sam Altman was fired. And, he's in tech. And what do these things have to do with each other? Well, I'm going to show you what these things have to do with each other, what they have to do with you. And it really comes down to people underestimating you, but not in the way that you think about it. So again, please hit the like button. I'm going to move as quickly as I can through this. Just, I want you to kind of follow the bouncing ball with me. And don't forget, if you want to get on our email list, get exclusive content, bwmakingmoney.com. Next Sunday, we are going to have our off of YouTube Zoom meeting where we're going to have a conversation about something special. We'll figure out what the topic is this week, and you can be invited for free. You just have to sign up on my email list, bwmakingmoney.com, for your invitation. All right. So put a one in the chat if you have heard about Sam Altman. Sam Altman is the CEO, again, of OpenAI, and OpenAI has a very famous tech platform called ChatGPT. So I'm practically certain everyone on here has heard of Cassie, but put a one in the chat if you have heard of a guy named Sam Altman. These two stories have a very key piece that's related, and I'm going to talk again tonight about how these two stories are related, how they affect you, and it's all about people underestimating you. People underestimating you, just like Cassie was underestimated, and just like Sam Altman was underestimated. And there's a major there's a major lesson that upwardly mobile Black women can learn. So, ladies, again, as you're coming in, please hit the like button and please put a one in the chat if you have heard of Sam Altman. Sam Altman, again, is the CEO of OpenAI. OpenAI runs ChatGPT, and oh, uh, he had a very interesting, from last Friday to a couple of days ago, his world has been very interesting. So you're saying here, I thought Sam Altman was fired or dismissed from OpenAI. Well, Mokomami, he is back at OpenAI. We're going to go through the timeline. We're going to go through the timeline of Sam Altman. Well, Sam Altman officially, as of a couple of days ago, is back at OpenAI. And that is one of the lessons that I have with regards to the fact that the board underestimated Sam Altman's the loyalty that Sam Altman's employees had to him, just like Diddy underestimated the Black communities. We didn't love Cassie, but we didn't dislike her either. And I believe, there have been in the past, especially a lot of Black women who have had the whole preference thing, quote unquote, right? The preference tax. Oh, no, we don't care. We don't care, right? And Diddy was banking on that when he basically told her to go and sue. Now, do I think that was the entire story? No. But I do think that was a part of it. Sam Altman, the board, when they fired Sam Altman, the board thought that nobody would care or that people wouldn't care enough. Turned out it wasn't just Microsoft who put think $16 billion that cared. They put $16 billion in the company. It was also 505 employees that threatened to quit OpenAI if Sam Altman wasn't brought back. And it was practically everybody in the tech space that basically cut up over Sam Altman's firing. What does this have to do with you as an upwardly mobile Black woman? Cassie was pretty much, not seen as an issue in the Black community, right? When we have seen other things happen with other celebrities, we've seen their tweets. There's always been some kind of controversy. And Cassie, from what I saw, those types of controversies did not come up for her. She had an immense amount of public support. Sam Altman used to be, he used to run something called Y Combinator. Y Combinator is hmm, the most influential business incubator probably in the world. So Sam Altman knows everybody, knew everybody, knows everybody. And not only that, people liked Sam Altman. And because of that, the board underestimated the appeal of Sam Altman as a leader. I'm here to say to you, and we're going to go through the articles tonight and kind of talk about this a little bit more. I'm here to say to you, though, that as we are living in a social media world, the things that we said 10, 20, 30 years ago could come back to haunt us, or they could come back to help us. When I talk to you about having a multicultural network, this is part of what I'm talking about. It is the strength of people. If your boss or somebody in your company was threatening your job, your position, would you have people rallying around you in your office? Why or why not? People should never underestimate you. But if they do, you should be in a position to have others come out in droves and support you. And that's part of what I want to talk about tonight is the strength of a multicultural network. So, um, you're saying here, hey, Opal, just got here, but yes, I heard of Sam Altman. Okay, great, great. So let's first of all, just for a second, talk about Cassie. Of course, Cassie had the shortest lawsuit probably in history. Um, she sued Puffy. The allegations were horrific. The practically everybody, but especially the Black community, was on Cassie's side. This, had so many legs with regards. The story had legs within the Black community. Everybody on social media was talking about it, and because of that, Diddy actually ended up settling the lawsuit in 24 hours. Here's the thing, ladies. Here's the thing. If Cassie didn't have public support, would this have settled so quickly? Maybe, but maybe not. Part of it was, look, I think that Cassie didn't put everything in her lawsuit. Yes. I think that there were potential charges and could be potential charges that are attached to Diddy based on this lawsuit. Yes. But I also think public sentiment and public support, Diddy and his lawyers underestimated public sentiment and public support. They knew that this would probably get out there, right? Um, and Cassie had really great lawyers. Let's be real about that as well. They were very prepared. But public support for Cassie was one of the reasons why this went so well and went in her favor. People, a la Diddy and his lawyers, underestimated Cassie. But I want to spend more time tonight talking, because we talked not on this channel, but just overall in the Black community. We talked at length about Cassie. Tonight, I want to talk a little bit more about OpenAI, some of the chaos that happened there. And again, the fact that the board underestimated Sam Altman. They underestimated his leadership skills. They underestimated his appeal. And what this has to do with you is, are people underestimating you? Are the strengths of your multicultural network such that if something were to happen to you at your job, that you would have people rallying to support you? If there's anybody that had a rallying of support, it was Sam Altman. The question is, do you have something like that? Do you have something like that within your company, within your community, etc.? If you don't, then you have work to do. Okay? So this is a timeline here, all the OpenAI chaos that happened. Um, it went from firing to interim CEO to rehiring and other twists in about 5 days, ladies. Took about 5 days. So they're saying here, if we've learned anything from the mess at OpenAI, it's that the humans are still in charge for now. Here's a timeline of everything we know that happened in OpenAI's C-suite and boardroom this week. First of all, why it matters. The culture clash inside OpenAI mirrors our own collective uncertainty and anxiety about the potential capabilities and risk of artificial intelligence. That's only part of the story. But, the board said that uh, Sam Altman was not being communicative with regards to some of the things that were happening within the company. So that's the reason why they said they fired him. But on November 16th, Sam Altman gets a text Thursday night from one of OpenAI's co-founders asking him to join a Google Meet chat on Friday. So apparently this was something that had been bubbling up, right? And then November 16th, OpenAI reportedly contacts CTO Mira Murati and taps her to be the next OpenAI CEO. So basically, before they fired Sam, they already had the replacement in place, right? November 17th, Microsoft learns of Altman's firing a minute before the world does. Now, see, what you're not going to do is you're not going to embarrass Microsoft. Microsoft has 16 billion with a B dollars in this company. How the hell did they find out a minute before everybody else? What is the board doing? What is the board thinking? The board miscalculated. The board miscalculated. Mokamami is saying the money grab will not be divorce, but NDAs because nasty behavior. Are you talking about Diddy? I don't have droves, but I, as well as other students, are having an issue with a professor. Because of my job working at the university, my boss gave me direct contact with the dean. Good for you. Yes, this is a story for us of making sure that our multicultural networks are shored up, just like Sam Altman has his. I don't have to fill out the complaint form behind other students. Good for you. Good for you. All right, so November 17th. So first of all, Microsoft learned about Altman's firing a minute before the world does. Honey, you are not going to embarrass like what the number 2 or 3 um, most important company on the world stage. This Sam Altman firing went everywhere. ChatGPT is huge. Sam Altman is huge. Everybody was talking about it. Everybody in the business circles, the tech circles, etc., was talking about it as much as Black America was talking about Cassie and Diddy, right? Okay, so November 17th, OpenAI releases a statement that CEO Sam Altman will be leaving the company, quote, after deliberative review process by the board, and that Greg Brockman will be stepping down as chair. So, my understanding as to what happened was that, oh, here it is, November 17th. Later that evening, Brockman announced that he was quitting the company. So basically, you have the number one and the number two guy in this company that's like, you know what? We're out of here. We're out of here, right? November 18th, Microsoft releases a statement. Quote, we have a long-term partnership with OpenAI, and Microsoft remains committed to Mira and their team as we bring this next era of AI to our customers. This statement was just to make sure that their stock price didn't go up and down too much. They didn't mean this, right? All right. November 18th, according to an internal memo from COO Brad Lightcap, the firing of Altman was not the result of malfeasance or anything related to our financial, business, safety, or security privacy practices. See, this is a very important thing as well, because if it were something financial, if he were doing an Elon Musk or something like that, that would be different. He would have half the people supporting him and half the people not. That is not what happened. Sam Altman is, according to everybody in tech, a likable guy. A lot of people know him and a lot of people like him. He's not an Elon Musk. You're not going to get this kind of controversial thing from Sam Altman. Deanne Matthews is here. Hello, Deanne. Now, this is good teaching. Thank you. Oh, thank you so much. That is such a compliment coming from you. Thank you. November 19th, Microsoft announces that it has hired Altman and Greg Brockman to lead a new research unit. So here's what Microsoft was thinking here. Oh, hell no. What we're not about to do is have Google snatch up the number one and number two guy in generative artificial intelligence. Hell no. This was a defensive play by Microsoft. You have a person who is likable in Sam Altman. You have the number two guy, Greg Brockman. I hadn't heard anything about him. I don't know if he's likable or not, but Sam Altman is like a likable guy. He's a money guy. He knows how to go out. He knows how to fundraise, things like that. Microsoft went on defense, ladies. Went on defense. They're like, before Google or some other company snatch these two guys up, we're going to bring them in-house. We're going to bring them in-house. The question for you as upwardly mobile Black women is this. If you lost your job today, would somebody within your industry contact you immediately and say, hey, Deanne, I want to hire you. Come work over here. Whatever salary you want, we're going to give it to you. Hey, Mokamami, we heard that they let you go. Don't worry. Come over here. How much money do you want? You want a 15% raise? No problem. Come over here. We got you. We got you. This happened in 2 days, ladies. And this guy probably had to negotiate a multi-million-dollar salary in 2 days. With Microsoft found out a minute before the rest of the world found out. They were on the phone. Do you have a multicultural network that would do that for you, that would follow you? If you don't, you need to get to work. True Mystique is here. Hello, hello. Deanna saying, I could not get the news. I wanted to make sense of this, but I love how you're filling in the gaps. I know that Microsoft blocked Google real quick. Yes, that was a defensive play, Deanna. Defense. And I don't blame them. I don't blame them at all. So here's November 19th. Altman tweets, quote, the mission continues, whatever that meant. November 20th, OpenAI announces another interim CEO. So how you go? You have within 3 days, you have 2 interim CEOs. The first CEO, people are like, who is this chick? Okay, she's the CTO. Okay. So now they have here the Twitch co-founder, Emmett Shear. Emmett, Emmett, darling, you should have hung that up. You no. But they probably were thinking they needed another founder, another tech founder, and of course, Twitch is super huge, right? I don't know what Twitch knows, what Emmett knows about generative AI. We probably could go in here and see a little bit more, but you know, okay, so this is a mess, basically. You have a mess of a situation. The board underestimated the appeal of Sam Altman. The board underestimated the appeal. The board underestimated the power of Google. And ultimately, the board underestimated the employees because, ladies, right underneath it, November 20th, the overwhelming majority of OpenAI's 700 plus employees signed an open letter urging the board to resign. They said, who the hell do you think you are? You MFers, y'all need to quit. There was a letter, 505 OpenAI employees threatened to quit. And these are not people who are making $8.25 an hour saying, I need my job. I got kids. These are people who make very good salaries who are like, I got it. I got it. They have it. They come from family members who probably have it. They would have a community that, hey, I'm a little short. Can you help me out? They probably could go to some sort of Silicon Valley bank and say, I used to work for OpenAI and now I'm about to start working for Google. Not Google, Microsoft. Microsoft was in a position to take these 505 employees, probably. Right, ladies? I mean, the question is if you were a leader in a company, would anybody follow you if you were wrongfully fired, if you were wrongfully terminated? And I'm going to come, first of all, ladies, 17 of you are in here, so please like the video. Please like the video. And I'm going to say this again to you, ladies. It's about being likable, but it is also about making sure that your past is as clean as possible. Being careful what you tweet, being careful what you say to people, etc. What you say, what you do, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 30 years from now could be the difference between people following you or people helping you and people saying, she said what? She said what? No way. And I'm going to show you a story of a young, she looks biracial to me. They say she's Black woman who said some stuff 10 years prior and lost an opportunity at Teen Vogue because of it. I'm going to show you all that. Flash Waves in the building saying he's a likable guy, but what did they like about him? They like the fact that, my understanding is he used to run Y Combinator. Y Combinator is the most most respected business incubator in the world. They like the fact that he was a business mentor. He helped a lot of startups. At Y Combinator, you're responsible for putting these companies together with capital. He was always very supportive. He was the guy that knew fundraising. He knew the money. And he was just an overall likable guy. He wasn't embroiled in a lot of controversy like an Elon Musk is. So if you're thinking about the difference, or a Steve Jobs was known as being a jerk to his employees. That wasn't Sam Altman. People liked Sam Altman. People would follow Sam Altman. I don't, Flashwave, if you've ever had a boss that you just really like, they may, they're like, this is what we're doing, this is what we're building, but they're fair, you like them. I had a boss like that once many years ago. I would definitely follow that guy. So this behavior with OpenAI is kind of ghetto as it pertains to the AI corporate space, girl. That's why the board is out now. The board is officially out. This was an example of grand opening, grand closing. Yes, it was. You're saying here, at least they listen. Yeah, Dawn to Earth is in the building. How many employees have that kind of power to demand the board of directors to quit? That says a lot. 505, I'm going to show you all the article. 505 OpenAI employees threatened to quit. 505. And these are what ChatGPT is working on, artificial intelligence, generative AI, all of this stuff. This is multiples of trillions of dollars. These people are not playing with their money over some board. So, um, Deanna's saying they did make themselves look like a community group that fired a popular choir director because they thought they were the stuff. Had to hire, yep, and look, and they are leaving. They are leaving, yes. My understanding is there was a philosophical difference between the board and Altman about safeguards that should be placed on AI as it's implemented. So that's one of the other uh, stories that I'm going to show tonight, Flashwave. So yes, that was a part of it. That was a part of it. Here's the thing. In my opinion, Russian companies, Chinese companies, these other companies globally are not stopping. So, first of all, Sam Altman was in agreement that there are going to be issues with AI as we proceed forward. The problem that we have is that Chinese companies, Russian companies, other companies are not stopping their um, AI research, trying to figure out the ethics of AI. We can't do that. These individuals are in a race for a multi-trillion-dollar industry. So, and I also think there were other things happening with the board. Deanne is saying Altman was leading Y Combinator. Oh, he has supporters literally honeycombing. Yep. The business world. Yes, yes, he does. So, okay. So let's see what else we have here. So, November 20th, they had their a second interim CEO in 3 days, ladies, is not good. Then they have the open letter from the majority of the company. Then on November 20th, OpenAI chief scientist Ilya Sutskever publicly says he deeply regrets his role in Altman's firing. So within 3 days, he's like, he couldn't take the heat. He's like, look, you know, sorry, sorry, I apologize. Right? November 21st, OpenAI released ChatGPT with voice to unpaid users, showing the organization continues to work even amid the drama. Look, people didn't care. People didn't care. November 21st, CTO Mira Murati. This is the woman who was briefly acting as interim CEO. She was interim CEO for 2 days. Shared a photo with Brockman, Altman, others, and herself at Altman's house with the caption, "Still working on it." They were trying to get the heat to fire, get the fire, quelled with regards to all of this mess. On November 21st, just after 10 p.m., OpenAI releases a statement that it has come to a deal in principle for Altman to return as CEO with a new board chaired by former Salesforce co-CEO Brett Taylor. So basically, um, November 17th to November 21st, that was 6 days, just to end up with Sam Altman back at the helm. Now, what they did do was they did swap out the old board with the new board. They have what they call a much more mature board on in OpenAI right now. So they have Brett Taylor as chair. They have Larry Summers. I think he is the former head of Oracle. And then they have another guy, Adam D'Angelo. So they have right now within OpenAI, they have more seasoned tech professionals on the board. But this board is going to be giving him a lot of latitude, a lot of latitude. So let's see what happened here. This is again, hundreds threatened to leave OpenAI after CEO was fired. So this was in the middle of all of this. Let's see what they have to say here on the news.
Rocking the tech world, the unexpected firing of OpenAI CEO Sam Altman. It's not sitting well with hundreds of employees who are now threatening to leave the company. And overnight, a major score from Microsoft, which announced it hired Altman to head its AI research division. KTVU's Ali Rasmus has more on what this means for the hundreds of millions of people who use ChatGPT.
Part of why any of us should care is not because some billionaire white dude is working for another company. What matters is that this technology is about really the future of how many of us are going to interact with computers.
San Francisco-based OpenAI is the artificial intelligence startup behind ChatGPT. The popular app launched just about a year ago and has hundreds of millions of users, from regular people to multi-million-dollar corporations. Its CEO and public face of the company, Sam Altman, was abruptly fired on Friday. The company's president, Greg Brockman, quit in solidarity with him, sending a shock of uncertainty through the tech sector.
There's no question that a number of startups were building their technology on top of ChatGPT and OpenAI's technologies.
So not only do you have Microsoft involved in this thing, but he is right that there were a lot of and are a lot of companies that are dependent on ChatGPT for um, their apps and things like that. This was having a major, major ripple effect. Stock prices were about to go down. People were going to lose millions of dollars, et cetera, et cetera. So they had to figure this thing out really quickly in order to get people stabilized and things stabilized.
So part of the question, of course, naturally becomes, well, what happens to all these people, right? And what happens to their futures?
That question was answered at 12:30 this morning when it was announced Microsoft was hiring Altman and Brockman to lead a new artificial intelligence research division at that company. In response, 500 employees of OpenAI sent a letter to the OpenAI board calling for it to resign and reinstate Altman, or they would all follow him to Microsoft. Part of the letter said to the board, quote, "Your conduct has made it clear you did not have the competence to oversee OpenAI," end quote.
That's very significant because how many companies you will see employees really loyal to the CEO, as we have seen in the case of OpenAI. That means he's the leader. There's no way for the CEO, Sam Altman, and the current board to exist at the same company.
One of the questions still unanswered is why Altman was fired in the first place. The OpenAI board offered a statement over the weekend that said Altman was not transparent with them, but offered no other details.
Imagine Steve Jobs being fired from Apple right before the iPhone comes out, or right after. That is what this feels like for a lot of people in the tech industry.
After 500 of the company's 700 employees threatened to leave, OpenAI's chief scientist, who is part of the board that fired Altman, said he regretted that decision. In a social media post this morning, Ilya Sutskever said, quote, "I deeply regret my participation in the board's actions. I never intended to harm OpenAI. I love everything we've built together, and I will do everything I can to reunite the company," end quote.
Whether that's possible is not clear. Regardless of what happens, Microsoft may be the biggest beneficiary in the shakeup. Unless there's any other dramatic changes, OpenAI's leadership and possibly hundreds of its researchers and engineers will be working for that company based in Washington State instead of at OpenAI here in the Bay Area.
Okay, ladies. So that was what happened. That was what happened over at OpenAI, right? Um, they basically, Microsoft, even though Microsoft put $16 billion with the B into OpenAI, they would have been able to onboard Sam Altman, onboard the number two in command. I hate to be the one. Hold on, everybody. Give me a sec, everybody. Um, so I apologize. My mother didn't know I was recording here with everybody. Okay, so Microsoft had the ability, they have the budget, they have the money to absorb 500 plus engineers. Also, what would have happened is that with those 500 engineers, they would have been able to not only like build another version, a competitor to ChatGPT, they probably would have been able to build something even better because they would have had Microsoft's resources as well. So the board totally underestimated Sam Altman. Kay Sherelle is in the building. Hello. Um, Deanna's saying they should have worked in advance. Yes, but when you do foolery, you get foolish results. Been in board situations like this, the embarrassment follows those on the wrong side of this. Absolutely. You're saying here, I live in San Francisco. The tech crowd here does not play and will cut a company's throat. They can work anywhere in the world and have no loyalty where no loyalty is shown to them. And that's my understanding with Sam Altman is, again, people liked him. I don't know if he was a loyal guy, but they were very loyal to him. So I would be surprised if he wasn't loyal to them. So, um, in fact, again, 505 OpenAI employees threatened to quit and called on the board to resign over Sam Altman's firing. So, this thing, again, huge mess. Sam Altman was underestimated. Um, You're saying I'm late, but I'm a replay. Okay, yeah, absolutely. We're just talking about people underestimating you. We're talking about the power of multicultural networks as upwardly mobile Black women, why we need them. Will we have, for example, 500 people walk out with us? No. But if your position at a company is threatened, do you actually have people who are going to have your back? Sam Altman has spent decades building those kinds of relationships. And my goal for all of you, this is why I'm always telling you, have your technical skills, have your soft skills, have your multicultural networks, and have your resources, right? Technical skills. Sam Altman has technical skills, right? He knows AI inside and out. He knows technology inside and out. Soft skills. The guy has soft skills. He knows leadership. He knows problem solving. He knows how to raise capital, how to give business presentations, things like that. Multicultural networks. We saw that here. We saw the fact that he is a leader and people are committed to him and to his vision, right? And then resources, he probably had money, stacked and saved up, so he wasn't too worried about the about the board firing him, right? One of the things that I saw on CNN here, they talked about who came out on top and who lost in this whole thing. So let's just kind of read through this a little bit. Who came out on top? Of course, Sam Altman came out on top, but also Microsoft, ladies. Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella has sought to downplay the tech giant's part in the crisis, insisting on Monday before Altman's reappointment that whatever happens with OpenAI, nothing changes, he says. Microsoft's priority, Nadella said, was to ensure uninterrupted delivery of AI technology to its own customers, whether that meant Altman was being hired by Microsoft or his reinstallation at OpenAI. In other words, Microsoft is like, we're behind the eight ball with Google and with search, right? So most of you know that Microsoft Bing, very few people use it. Most people use Google to the point where Google, I'm going to Google something is the verb. Microsoft is looking to be at the front of artificial intelligence. OpenAI, and more importantly, Sam Altman was the company that they were backing. Sorry, was the person they were backing. And OpenAI, whether uh, whether they were going to do it through OpenAI or they were going to bring it in house, Microsoft is 1,000% in with this. So, this CEO, Satya Nadella, he is one of the winners with regards to this whole debacle. The new board members are also part of the winners as well. You know, they're going to cash in some big checks, and they're going to be at the forefront of this multi-trillion-dollar industry. Losers are number one, the push to slow AI development. So, somebody, I think it was Flashwave, was talking about this before. So, yes, you are right that, let me make this a bit bigger so you ladies can see it here. The push to slow AI development is down at the bottom, lost out. In the same way that the deal breathes new life into Altman's mythos, so does it give tailwind to the ideology he represents, a belief in the rapid commercialization of generative AI, with some of the apparent architects of Altman's ouster being pushed out themselves. A casualty of the affair may be the perspectives that those board members espouse. That seems to include a deep fear a deep fear about the long-term, potentially even existential risk of AI. Ladies, we have been talking on this channel about AI coming for white collar jobs and robotics coming for blue collar jobs. This is going to happen faster and faster. If Diamond Dave did an excellent session yesterday on the fact that either you are going to increase your skills or you're going to get washed out, that the floor is being raised in the United States of America. Put a 2 in the chat if you all heard Diamond Dave's session yesterday. Put a 3 in the chat if you didn't. I definitely suggest you go and listen to it. The floor is being raised, ladies. The rapid commercialization of generative AI is coming. Either you're going to be ready or you're not. Either you're going to be ready or you're not. Ice Coco saw Diamond Dave's session. Farida, you're always over there, Farida, so I know you saw it. Dawn to Earth, you should definitely take a look at it. It was good. It was only 30 minutes. But the floor is being raised, ladies. If you are not careful, you are going to be locked out, right? Generative AI is coming. This is why I know that this is the home of the upwardly mobile Black woman, but we talk about other things that are happening in the community as well. And one of the news articles that came out and stories that I saw was about the poor Black people in New York missing out on their Thanksgiving turkeys because the migrants got to the food pantry faster. And basically, the migrants took all of the turkeys. And we're going to go through that story at some point. But here's the thing. Why are we continuously clawing for what's at the bottom as a community? This whole thing with OpenAI, yes, what happened with Cassie was important, right? Because the hip hop industry has a whole lot of mess that needs to be taken care of. But you and I both know, all of you that are listening and watching me tonight, you know that this thing with OpenAI that happened, this is going to have a bigger effect on our everyday lives than anything happening with Cassie and Diddy. This story right here. This story right here is basically saying that any of the guardrails that the old board had up with regards to generative AI are out. They are out. This thing is coming, right? Deanna is saying the challenge that no one can lead through fear. That board was doomed. Yes. 3, thank you for your heads up. Yes, absolutely. That's the whole point of Black Women Making Money is I wanted this channel to be like, hey, this is what's coming, ladies. We need to be careful. We need to be watching what is happening. Yes, the board was doomed. The board was absolutely doomed. So, um, so anyway, we also are going to look a little bit at this thing called Q Star. OpenAI has something called Q Star. Here's what you need to know about the mysterious project. I have to admit, I had not heard about Q Star until a couple of days ago when I was reading my daily Business Insider. But I pulled this off to the side because it is something that we need to be aware of. A mysterious new OpenAI model called Q-Star has got the tech world talking. The model is said to have sparked concern at the startup that led to the resulting chaos. AI experts say the model could be a big step forward, but is unlikely to end the world anytime soon. So, what is Q-Star? Let's see here. I'm going to start here. The information reported that a team led by OpenAI chief scientist Ilya Sutskever had made a breakthrough earlier this year, which allowed them to build a new model known as Q-Star. The outlet reported that the model could solve basic math problems. Sources told Reuters that this model provoked an internal firestorm, with several staff members writing a letter to OpenAI's board warning that the new breakthrough could threaten humanity. This warning was cited as one of the reasons that the board chose to fire Sam Altman, who returned as CEO on Wednesday after days of turmoil at the company. Ladies, listen to this. The ability to solve basic math problems may not sound that impressive, but AI experts told Business Insider it would represent a huge leap forward from existing models which struggle to generalize outside the data they are trained on. This is a quote here. If it has the ability to logically reason and reason about abstract concepts, which right now is what it really struggles with, that's a pretty tremendous leap, says Charles Higgins, right? He added, math is about symbolically reasoning, saying, for example, is if X is bigger than Y and Y is bigger than Z, then X is bigger than Z. Language models traditionally really struggle at that because they don't logically reason. They just have what are effectively intuitions. So basically, what they're saying now is Skynet is coming. This Q star thing here means Skynet is coming, ladies. This Q star basically is the beginning of AI, generative AI, being able to reason. Okay? What does that mean? That means that historically we were saying, hey, as long as you know how to problem solve, hey, as long as you know how to strategically think, your job will be safe. Now, with this Q Star project, which is under OpenAI, right? OpenAI is working on these mathematical problem solving skills with generative artificial intelligence. Now, what this means is the AI is going to be able to problem solve. The AI is going to be able to think. I even saw an article recently that said that there is a company where an AI is the CEO of the company. I should have pulled it up. Ladies, we need to be ready for these things. Now, do I think all the jobs are going away? No. But I am here to say You better be on your P's and Q's when it comes to your technical skills, your soft skills, your multicultural networks, and your resources. Be careful what you are tweeting. Be careful what you are putting on YouTube. Be careful what you are doing in these Discord groups, because what you write and do or have done 10 years ago can affect you today, can affect you 20 years from now if people don't have your back. Dawn Earth is saying there is just going to be a segment of the Black community that will be left behind because they will always think that scraps are the best they can do, and some refuse to stop making excuses and upskill. Yes, we want to upskill and we want to be smart. One of the things that Diamond Dave says, which I think is brilliant, and I agree with it, he said that the white people will write what they're going to do. They will make it public. They will let you know before it actually comes. And either you're going to see the train coming and you're going to upskill and divert and move forward, or you're going to be left behind. Deanna saying ChatGPT is not good at math, so Q star is big. Quantum computing may account for that Q. And if we get there, markets and security as we know them will be over. Yes. Yes. So here's the thing. The board was thinking, we need to stop Q star. We need to stop all of this. But China ain't stopping their research. Russia is not stopping their research. Google is not stopping their research. These other companies are not stopping their research for them to figure out the ethical aspect of all of this. So yeah, the board miscalculated. And yeah, you're right. The Q can stand for quantum. Absolutely. Everything can be modeled by mathematical equation. It does basic problems today, but tomorrow's is calculus and differential equations. And with that flash wave comes its ability to think and reason and do, different types of problem solving. Let's say that, I don't know. Let's say your kid breaks his arm, for example. This OpenAI would be able within seconds to mathematically equate like the nearest hospital or, what bone was broken or all of that stuff and be able to spit out, here's what we're going to do. Like they would be your personal assistant saying, here's what we're going to do based on little Johnny breaking his arm. Like that's going to put people out of jobs, right? There's just going to be a lot of interesting things happening with OpenAI. A lot of interesting things happening with it. So the final thing I wanted to show you is just this story here. Alexi McCammond, she was brought in as Teen Vogue editor. She was going to be the first Black. They say Black. She looks biracial to me, but my understanding is she was Black. Teen Vogue editor. This was a really huge thing. And apparently, when they were thinking about bringing her in, she had made some quote unquote racist tweets. And because of that, they rescinded her offer. Why am I telling you this? Again, wrapping this up for everybody. Being careful what you are saying, what you are doing, what you are taking pictures of, what you are commenting in people's Instagram and YouTube and on these Discord channels. You all think that you're in Discord and you're anonymous. I'm trying to tell you now, people are getting doxxed in these Discord channels. If somebody is looking to get rid of you, they are going to dig up any and everything they possibly can in order to do so, just like they did with this young lady, Alexi McCammond. So I'm just trying to warn all of you, as your Auntie Cherie, to just be cautious and conscious about the things that you are putting on social media, the things you're saying, the things you're writing, etc. And with that, that is today's session. Farida saying blockchain and quantum computing and AI equals new technology paradigm. Absolutely. And I'm so glad you mentioned blockchain because a lot of people are sleeping on blockchain. But blockchain is going to be the security mechanism for AI and quantum computing. And ladies, if you all are looking to get into blockchain, there is Black Women Blockchain Council. They have a course, I think it's like $87 to teach you, like, I think it's the advanced parts of blockchain, like how to code in Solidity or something like that. It's Black Women Blockchain Council. So, um, Blossoming Bloom is saying, I'm really curious to see which jobs will strictly be for human beings. Robots might really take over. Yes, so I don't think there are going to be any jobs strictly for human beings. I think that all jobs in all industries will have a mixture of robots and humans. The question is, are you at the bottom 10% with regards to skills, the bottom 20%, or are you at the top 10%, top 20%? And it's not just skills, it's also your networks. This is why I keep pushing all of you with regards to having your multicultural networks in place now, getting those things in place now, because there will come a point in time where, and this is where Diamond Dave was talking, and he's right, these companies are going to be looking at the bottom line. Robots and AI do not call in sick. Robots and AI are not sitting on TikTok talking about, I want a soft life. Robots and AI are, if the shift is 8 hours, they don't need lunch. They're going to work the entire 8 hours. And I understand that a lot of you are like, Cherie, I don't want to work like I'm a slave. And I understand that. I'm giving you the other side of it with regards to, and I'm not telling you to work like a slave. I am saying be smart and be strategic about how you are navigating, especially my younger Gen Z ladies. Because if there's a decision between you and technology, you've got to bring something to the table for them to want to pick you. Unagreeable. I don't think I've seen you before. Yes, a college rescinded an offer over a social media post a student made when she was 14. Yes, exactly. Which is why if I had children today, I would be like, look, do not put anything on social media that you don't want to come back and bite you in the butt in 20 years, because these people will find it. They will find it, right? As someone trained as a professional investigator, heed the warning I use to profile people based on YouTube comment patterns. Yes, Deanne, thank you for saying it. And yes, Black Women Blockchain Council, Olayinka runs it. She's a really cool woman. In fact, I'm going to have her come next month to talk with the community about blockchain. So, but yeah, please listen to what I'm saying to you. Please listen to what I'm saying to you. And just, yes, please heed my warning, because you will lose out on opportunities. You'll lose out on opportunities, especially if they're looking to get rid of you. So, Donna Earth is saying, I'm upskilling as well as buying a piece of land to live and grow my own food. I'm also looking to diversify streams of income while I can. Good for you. Yes, I absolutely agree with that. Hopefully you'll be coming through to our Small Business Saturdays, or at least listening to the replays. I think you do, Dawn to Earth. I think you listen to the replays, because we're going to be talking a lot more about entrepreneurship and making sure that you get those second and third streams of income. So definitely. Demira is saying, grow your LinkedIn network as well. I've seen too many Black women with 17 connections. Please, please grow your LinkedIn network. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Your goal is, let me say your goal. In my opinion, I connect with anybody who is in the United States of America, and I, don't really care if they are in my field or not. Now, you'll have like a lot of like financial advisors, insurance people, people like that will want to connect with you. For me, it kind of depends on the day of the week. If I connect with them, if it's a Black woman, I definitely connect with them. But then everybody else is like, who's in my industry that I can connect with, because those people will see your post as well. And you're able to DM them and you're able to have a relationship with those individuals. So, yeah. All right, ladies. Well, look, it is a great Sunday just to have this conversation. Wanted to definitely talk with you ladies about this. And I hope that, again, you'll just kind of think about some of the things that I've been saying. This Cassie story was important. The mess happening in hip hop, which has been happening for many, many years, was toxic and it needed to come forth. Yes, I'm familiar with what's happening with Aaron Hall and all of these other people, L.A. Reid. All of these other people now have cases that have been brought against them. My understanding is that California has um, the same law about the adult survivors law, and they have, I think, until the end of this year to file in California. So we're going to see more of these cases come through. Stuff that people were doing 10, 20, 30 years ago is coming to bite them in the butt. We, as upwardly mobile Black women, and put a one in the chat if anybody wants to come up and talk about this. I'm going to talk about Black women, period. Black women have made a very big miscalculation. In the 90s and in the 2000s, the early 2000s, we fought to have our degeneracy like be upheld, right? We talked about gangster rap and we talked about freedom of speech. We did not come to defend C. Dolores Tucker when we had a chance. There were a lot of things that were happening in the music industry that everyone knew about, but everyone either kept quiet or they allowed it to happen or they participated in it happening. And now people are paying the price for it. And it's not just going to be these men who pay the price for it. There are going to be some women who go down as well because they allowed it to happen, ladies. This is why earlier this year we had the story about the young lady cutting up at graduation. And I said, why are we as Black women, you know, saying, well, white people do it too? No, that's not the answer. That's not the answer. We as Black women have to start taking a stand with regards to, if someone is committing a crime, then we should not be protecting these individuals. We should not be protecting individuals who are quote unquote cutting up. Now, I don't think there should be excessive penalties for people, but things that were done 10, 20, 30 years ago are starting to come back and bite people in the butt. And things you do today can affect you negatively 10, 20, 30 years from now. Back when Cosby was, hanging out at the Playboy Mansion with Hugh Hefner and all of that, it was common that these things were done. Then look at him. America's dad, quote unquote, America's dad, is in. Deanna, come up. Okay, great. Let me get the StreamYard link for you, Deanna, and anybody else who wants to come up. There you go. Now America's dad, quote unquote, Bill Cosby, is broke. We as upwardly mobile Black women have to be very, very careful about co-signing foolishness. In the workplace, it is dangerous for us to say, well, white people do it, so we should be able to do it too. No, no, because the stuff that we think we should be able to get away with can come back to bite us 30 years from now when we have real opportunities. Deanna's saying that mess ain't going to be fixed. Yes, California has another month. Yeah, look, we'll see what happens in California. So I put the StreamYard link in, everybody. So if anybody wants to come up, you can. You can come up. We have a couple of minutes here. And let me know if you all have any more thoughts with regards to today. I'm looking forward to hearing what Deanne has to say. Here we go. Hey, Deanne.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. How you doing? Can you hear?
Okay, hold on. I had my Bluetooth on and my headphone is somewhere over yonder. Hello, and how are you today?
I am good, Deanne. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. First of all, it's an honor. I have learned so much from your channel,
Oh, thank you.
and you touched on something very dear to my heart in terms of as Black women, there is so much opportunity and there is so much danger right now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, You did a really great show about I believe, 10 things that Black women should invest in before they run out and invest in a lot of other things.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was so. We're kind of sometimes out here making our opinion known about a lot of different things, but we don't realize our foundation is not stable. And that's a very, very, very dangerous position to be in a situation where right now we have all this Black girl magic, and we've seen several years of Black women in prominent positions, but just as soon as you're prominent in someone else's position, you can be taken right back out.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what people who do not think about this. I mean, I know that on other channels, not so much here because we keep it cool over here because it's about business. We talk a lot about our counterparts. We could be only 5 to 7 years behind our counterparts and going through some of the same things because we have some foundational items. And like I said, there's so much opportunity. And at the same time, there's so much danger for us right now.
Mm-hmm. You're right. You're right. And that is why some of the things I say on here can be controversial, but you and I are around the same age. We've seen cycles, right? We've seen
Yeah.
these cycles coming. And you and I have also probably grown up with baby boomer parents, right?
Yes.
And my grandmother was silent generation. So I got to see life from their perspectives. And I got to see their journey. And then I got to see how I was growing up. And one of the blessed things we have, Deanne, is we didn't grow up in social media. Because I would
Yes.
imagine some of the things that I thought when I was 12 or 15 or 18 are not memorialized on Twitter. Thank you, Jesus.
Yeah.
Right?
Thank you, Lord. Let's not have some church right now.
Yes. Because I said some dumb stuff at 18. I know I did.
Well, I mean, the fact that they went and wrecked this opportunity for this young woman over something she
Mm-hmm.
said when she was 14 could not have happened to us. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I have a journal here somewhere. I mean, a handwritten journal somewhere from when I was 14. But that's the only way you could have found that out. So for Black women, time to be a child and trying to grow is not as much as others anyway because of adultification
Mm-hmm.
anyway. But now that you have social media, I think sometimes Black women, we have to really think about. I did a video about um, somebody on Fox News helping to sell a whole lot of gay nutcrackers and Black Santas in wheelchairs accidentally. Because when you don't have the numbers you think you have to be careful that you don't achieve the opposite of what you want.
Mm-hmm.
As Black women, I think we are at a moment where we are enjoying the fact that we can now speak about the things we feel we need to speak about on one hand. And then you have people that are younger than they should be in the public eye, because our generation has to be a little bit more, like you said, if we're working with children, we have to educate them more. But at the same time, we don't realize when you are only 7% of the population and you and your counterparts combined are the biggest consumers but have the least assets,
Mm-hmm.
we don't like to think about that, but unfortunately that is our situation. We can't always afford to be in the firestorm,
Mm-hmm.
because we don't have anywhere to go if the fire engine doesn't come.
And we don't own any fire engines.
Mm-mm.
We don't own any water. Not that anyone owns water, but like, we don't have the infrastructure for these
Yeah.
things. And of course, you and I are both speaking metaphorically, but within corporate America, Black people do not have the infrastructure. If you are fired today, there's no Black, Wall Street that you can go
No.
to be rehired someplace else, et cetera, which is why when we have our conversations about race, for example, I'm always very careful in saying to, the young ladies, look, before you accuse somebody of being racist, use that term very, very carefully, because if you get it wrong, there may not be an opportunity for you to go work someplace else in your chosen field. So, like,
Yes.
people just need to be careful what you're saying. And when we say place chess, not checkers, these are some of the things that we're talking about. With regards to being strategic, thinking about what you're saying, what you're doing, what you're writing, who you're having lunch with, all of those things will either elevate you, will keep you stagnant, or will demote you eventually one day. So it's just being strategic.
One of the things I've been talking about on my channel for the last couple of days, because it keeps coming to mind, is we have to learn how to read the room.
Yes.
Read the room. Okay, so we do know, okay, we're not pretending that racism isn't still out there. There are
Of
tremendous.
course not. Yeah.
Hold on just a second.
True Mystique is saying here, now I know what to say on the internet and what not to say. I have opinions, but wouldn't dare say publicly. Some of this is attention-seeking behavior. Let's be honest. This is very true, True Mystique. There used to be the old saying, kitchen table talk, right? You didn't say everything out in public. You didn't record everything. And the internet is forever. There's the Wayback Machine where you can't. I deleted the tweet. No, sir, you didn't delete the
No,
tweet.
it's never. I'm a professional investigator, y'all. Please believe me. I was trained on the cusp of the internet. I was a professional copy editor. So it's my job to investigate what reporters already reported and see whether their stuff actually checked.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all, there is no such creature, because if your stuff got shared enough times and someone then shared it to their page and screenshot enough times, it has to be taken off of every server it went to.
Impossible.
Which is exactly, blockchain is just another step up on this idea that already exists. So let me break this down from an investigator's point of view, just so people know. So you're able to communicate with someone across the world. That's fantastic. Every single thing that you said went through every server between here and there, meaning that if journalist me decides to go pull my old press card and go get it, I can. It means every government between here and there can get it.
Mm-hmm.
It means that people who can hire investigators who are more technically skilled even than I am can go get it. So blockchain is immutable. They talk about blockchain being immutable and that everything on there stays on there. Well, it's just an upgrade on what already exists. It just uses that technology to verify transactions, but in a organized way. But in reality, every transaction, every conversation ever made on the internet, if it was read in another country, another city, another state, it's on another computer.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
that's what, it's just like I listened to my stuff from 6 years ago now, 6 or 7, since I started Grown Black Folks Talk, and I'm glad that I've been consistent. Of course, I've had Sunday school students who come back to church and repeated everything I said, so I'm glad that I'm consistent. But now it's just like, if you don't feel like you're gonna be able to stand it on the eternity, may I suggest you not? Because
Yeah.
the other thing about this is, read the room 101. What you said is 101. Here's 201. You gonna cry racism? Okay, I want you to think about something. I've been saying this consistently for the past 6 months. Next year, we're going to live in an environment where three upwardly mobile black women, Judge Tanya Chutkin, Madam D.A. Fonnie Willis of Georgia, and Madam D.A. Letitia James, are going to upset some folk. Because some folk that would like to see some other folk get back into office may be disappointed. So that's going to go somewhere. It's not going to go on Judge Cutting. Probably it's not going to hit Fannie Willis. Probably it's not going to hit Letitia James. Probably, but read the room next year. Right now, read the room for the United States of America. We're going to have to be mindful that as much as doors are open for Black women, at the same time, that displacement of the rage, of the disappointment that there may be next year, whether a particular former president wins or loses, that displacement has got to go somewhere. And since these ladies have done the work they need to do in their lives to be basically unassailable, we need to make sure we've done the work and make sure that when we go into different rooms, we know what we're doing, we know what our fallback position is, and we have a backup plan. It is about to get really serious for Black women in this country. The political situation is about to get really serious.
Well,
Really
they've
serious.
made Black women the face of the Trump, um, well, and one Black man, the guy in New York.
Yeah.
But they have made us the face of the prosecutions,
Mm-hmm.
and that does concern me. I'll be honest. Now,
Mm-hmm.
I'm Trump agnostic. I've said that multiple times on this channel. If the guy wins, I'm still going to make money. If the guy loses, I'm
Yeah,
still going to
true
make money.
enough.
I truly am Trump agnostic. Um, I have my concerns about Trump, but not as much as I did the very first year he was in office. And I've shared that story multiple times on this channel. So, yes, what Deanne is saying is right, that there will be people who see you and say, oh, you're a Black woman. You're automatically Democrat. You're automatically against Trump. Therefore, I'm not going to give you this opportunity. Or therefore, I'm not going to, quote unquote, open this door for you, this metaphorical door for you. There will be other people who will assume you are against Trump and will behave accordingly as well.
Yes, that's true
My,
too.
yes. And then when you say to them, I'm Trump agnostic, then,
You're
like,
hurt on
yeah,
both ends.
yeah,
That's not working for anybody. How
look,
dare you not take a side, woman? What you mean?
I know. What you mean? Like, look, and I've been this way for 7 years, so I feel very comfortable in where I am, and I've been pretty straightforward with how I feel. Right? True Mystique is saying she's independent too, right?
Yeah, I am also actually.
And I know you are, Deanne, and Unagreeable is saying yes, the Democrats are using Black women as alligator bait.
Basically,
Unfortunately, this is true. So this is, we've had these, not as much on this channel, but I've heard these conversations and they are true. Black women's imagery pours out on all of us until we individually prove ourselves different, which is why I'm like, you need to have multicultural networks of people who know you
right.
personally and will protect and defend you personally.
Yes.
Otherwise, it's going to be very difficult for you.
And
So,
you need to get that now. It
mm,
is November the 26th. See, I love that you
mhm,
did this show today
mhm.
because it's November the 26th, 2023. We have a year to the next election.
Yeah.
What you do not have, that trial starts on March the 4th. What
Mm,
you do not have by March 4th,
it's
you
going to be
may not
crazy.
be able to get in this environment.
Mm-hmm.
There are so many people in this channel. There are so many people in this live right now. True Mystique, and you'll correct me if I'm wrong, is a certified prompt engineer.
Yes, she is. Vanderbilt University, baby.
Yes.
Yay!
She used AI to design the bestseller cover of my book, Seizing the Crypto Bull Run for Financial Freedom. The woman knows what she's doing. It was top in wealth management and analysis and trading. And the only reason, because there's better authors on that subject than me that have been in it longer than my 4 years, everybody knows they were looking at what True Mystique did. Let's not play. We have people in our midst, like right now. Yes, it's small. It's Cyber Monday tomorrow. I'm endorsing True Mystique. Everybody, get with the program. People who are in our midst who are equipped to actually help us be able to make the best of this time that we have, so that you can go. It's like the tech workers out here. They know they can work anywhere in the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they can say, yeah, you fired him. That's cool. We going to. Bye. They can do that. These are the kind of things that you need to have some kind of skill. And then probably when you get those skills, you need to think beyond earned income, business, or investing, one or the other. And it's not that you're out of time on March the 4th of next year. It's just that things are not going to be, we could be in World War III tomorrow.
That is scary to me. I'll be honest. Because Cardi B is controversial as she is right. We ain't got it. Did you see the Cardi B Instagram?
Well, what was that about?
Okay, so a couple of days ago, Cardi B was on live, and she was talking about the fact that she's no longer endorsing a presidential candidate because she endorsed Biden after Bernie asked her to last time. That New York City is reducing social services by $100 million because of the migrants.
Okay.
And how Biden is talking about funding 2 wars, one in Israel and one in Ukraine, and we ain't got it. We don't have the money for all of that. We can't take care of American citizens. And then we also saw where Black women were standing in line in order to get Thanksgiving turkeys. They've been going for years and years, and the migrants got there before them, and the people ran out of food, So, it's just, again, kind of us having this conversation of things are shifting, things are changing, and we have to be ready. And it's not about being ready for, scraps at the bottom. I'm sick of us having that conversation. It is about how do we get stabilized housing, home ownership, stabilized jobs, businesses, things like that. That's really what I want to have on this channel, is that conversation, because we're not doing it, Deanna.
I keep saying stop fighting for the bottom. I've been saying this now for almost 2 straight years. A lot of the conversations that we have had now, of course, Cassie is an exception because that was important. That was if we believe the allegations that are still coming. This is years and years.
Well, not only allegations, they've been on DJ Vlad blabbing about the stuff they've.
Because I don't really follow DJ Vlad that much. But okay, we'll move it up.
I don't follow him. I just see the clips online that people point out, and I'm like, oh yeah,
okay. So
they've been stuff.
We'll move up to the level then. The things that this individual, who is much admired by our counterparts and justified to our counterparts to do to Black women in general, because I know Cassie is of a number of different races, but women in general, it's important that we discuss how no matter who you are, you will get caught up. That's important. And at the same time, it's not the only important thing. Cassie took her money home to her white husband and their children. That money is never coming back to the Black community. So as much as we may or may not feel for Cassie, because there's definitely a difference of opinion about this, but as much as we may or may not feel for Cassie, it doesn't help us put anything together for our future. And a lot of these reductive conversations are us fighting for a bottom that is falling out. It's like you're on a submersible. You hear all that crick cracking going on. This is not the
And
time
you're
to go talk
saying,
to Hamish Harding about I don't really like the tie you have on. I don't like your sister either. This may not be time for you to do that. I'm just saying, there's some crick crackling going on in the American system. It's snap, crackle, and pop, and ain't nobody got no General Mills cereals out yet. We really do have to do our best to look at the opportunity and focus on how do we get there. And I appreciate your channel because you consistently help us to come back, draw back, look at what's out there, get our foundation stable before we go and be too overly engaged in everything else. I appreciate that you continually pull us back. Just pull us on back every Saturday. I missed you this Saturday. No, today's Sunday. That's why I missed you this Saturday.
Yesterday, I was a little late yesterday, but I did my Small Business Saturday yesterday, so you can go and listen to the replay.
Okay.
Yesterday's session was good too, I'll admit.
Okay, and now that I know you do this every Saturday, I think, are you on Eastern time?
I am, yeah.
It's 12:30 Eastern?
Yeah, so I usually try to do midday on Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah, I usually try to do about 12:15, 12:30 on Saturdays.
Okay, so that's 9:15 to 9:30
Yeah.
my time.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to hit a rehearsal at 11 o'clock your time, so I've got to be up anyway. So I'll try to make that happen next week.
Okay. If not, you can just listen to the replay. But next week should be good because next week the ladies asked us to talk about how to work your business when you're an inconsistent person. So we're going to talk about that. I've got some ideas and real tactics and tools for people. So next week that is going to be the conversation. Beulah is saying to all of you ladies here and my cloud watching men, because I do have cloud watchers, obtain a skilled trade career. The training is free and funded by the U.S. Department of Labor. Address the unemployment office. Yes. And Beulah is opening up her plumbing company as well. So shout out to Beulah. You go, girl.
Yes, go. All right. Now that's a big industry because we know the average age of a plumber right now is about 57, 58 years old.
Yeah,
so there's going to be a whole lot of, because I'm trying to think about it, 65, you still want to be crawling down in people's septic tank with the immune system and all that. So there's going to be a lot of room in there.
And the robots are coming. So I have a feeling that the robots are going to be able to help with some of this as well. So you may not need to crawl as much as you think. You still need the human intervention to kind of, help with all of that. So
somebody has to have a sense of smell to find a leak. I'm just saying what I'm saying.
Yeah. It'll be a while before Q-Star can do all that. So
that's a conversation for another day. But quantum computing, if they get that off,
they're going to get it off.
Crypto is like gone if that happens. So when we talk about different kinds of investing, being able to even move as retail in the market, any market, you're going to be competing with quantum computing. That's a conversation for another day. But when I saw Q-Star the first time, I'm like, okay, y'all actually trying to sneak this here quantum computing in on us?
They weren't sneaking it in, girl. They're letting people know. They're letting. This is why when Diamond Dave said that, I'm like, he is so right. And I've seen it for years. They will tell you what they're doing. They'll tell you what they're doing 5, 10, 20 years before they actually roll it out. I don't understand why we're all of a sudden like, well, we're out of a job. Well, who's going to give us turkeys? Well, I'm like, come on. We saw this coming.
Okay, you and I and the people that listen to the things that you and I comment. I think, and it's a conversation for another day, but we are easily just you're reading a book called Undistractable.
Yes, Indistractable.
Let's just say that there's probably a whole bunch of Indistractable. I said Undistractable. Help me out here.
Indistractable.
Indistractable.
Yes.
Probably a lot of us need to read that. I would just leave that.
Look, we did our Zoom meeting last month on it, and we may actually have a part 2 for that because it takes a lot to be able to put those things into practice. But here's the thing: rich people, they are requiring their children to put down their cell phones,
Mm-hmm.
not be so engaged in social media. The things that they want us to do as quote unquote poor Black people, they are not allowing for their children to do.
Well, if
And
you,
that comes out in the book as well.
oh,
So,
okay.
yeah, between that book and there's another book that the author wrote called Hooked. And Hooked is all about how to
Okay.
get people hooked on these apps. So
Ah,
that he wrote the other book, Indistractable, to kind of teach you as a consumer how to, you know, like focus. Because the true power skill of the future is your ability to focus.
yeah. Well, I mean, if you go back to the invention of the printing press, I forget where I read this, but the number exists. The 9 to 10% of the people who are most literate. Now, literate has changed over the course
Hmm.
of the year. Right now, you need to be technologically literate.
Hmm.
Whoever that top 9 to 10% are, they're going to rule everybody else.
Very true.
So if you forget for just a minute race, class, creed, gender, for just
Hmm.
a minute, and then you go back and you read how a gentleman named James Madison, and I know this is in the Federalist Papers number 10, said that he was designing a system that would keep the factions always fighting each other over, guess what? Race, gender, class. That's how it ended up rolling out.
Hmm.
Because he said, if we don't, these people are going to get together and redistribute the wealth and take it away from the better and best sort of people. Well, he wasn't even talking about Black women at all.
No, we aren't even on their radar.
But if you look at how politics has always, like, if you really read American history again, meanwhile, the rich and keep doing what the rich keep doing.
Hmm.
They stay indistractable, and they
Yes.
keep getting their kids into the top 9 or 10 most literate groups.
Yep.
That's what they keep doing. And when Black people attend to this, though, in any country you want to look at, Portugal has the Braganza family. We had Barack Obama here for a minute. If you prepare yourself, you can get to a better position. But it's just that we have to attend to the right things.
We do. And we don't. And that's the reason why I feel so sad at points, because we're fighting for scraps.
I do
Instead
too.
of saying, how do we leapfrog, exponentially, which can be done. Look, I give it to America. I know that people will crap on America. Let me tell you, America's the best country for us to be in. I don't, hands down, I would not change that. We have public schools, we have public libraries where you cannot be discriminated against for going in, learning how to read, being able to basically uh, buy anything that you want to be able to buy. The internet. I know that there are certain pockets of the country. In certain inner city neighborhoods where they have a hard time getting the internet, but for the most part, the internet is democratized. Anything
For the
that we
most part.
want to
Yep.
learn, we can
Yes.
do. We can be a part of economically in this country. But this whole thing with Sam Altman, going back to this, and then I'll let you say final words and we'll go. This whole thing with Sam Altman was a distraction. And you know who squashed that? Microsoft. The new board of OpenAI, those are some power hitters, Larry Summers and those guys, etc. They're like, hold on a second. This is a multi-trillion-dollar industry. Like, you you all are not going to mess up the program
Hmm.
that we have right now. So yeah, but you have any final words?
Just to make it brief, because my phone is also saying this conversation is gonna be over real quick. And I hate
Okay.
to leave interrupt you like that. But first of all, again, thank you for allowing me to come up. And I share
Absolutely.
some sadness with you, but I also share the privilege of being able, I work in a slightly different area than you most of the time. Content area is a little bit different.
Hmm.
But we're still actually, I'm gonna do an email to you. We do have some overlap. Um, I want us as Black women to not fight for the bottom, not fight for the scraps.
Hmm.
Channels like this, y'all, Black women making money are channels that we learn what's available. No, we weren't born Sam Altman, but the beautiful thing about living in the United States is that you really don't have to be. Madam C.J.
Nope.
Walker and Biddy Mason and some others have already come through here. Oprah's still with us. Now, people
Mm-hmm.
have different opinions about all these women, and I'm not arguing about, I mean, we're not arguing about that right now. We have to learn to focus on, okay, it's like Patti LaBelle and everybody talk about her sweet potato pies were not that good. No, what you need to sit down and figure out was how did she get hers in the Walmart and your grandmama and them isn't in there.
Mm-hmm.
We have to begin to, and some of us just continue to, not everybody's not up on this, but we need to help our sisters as we help ourselves begin to focus on the things that we need to do to secure our situation, because easy time to do this
Is right now. But
yeah,
it's the window is closing. The window is
it is
closing for the easiest time to do it.
yeah, it
Um, and
is
I
close.
yeah, and I will say that we've had this conversation with the closing of affirmative action. The Fearless
Yep,
Fund is still being sued, ladies. That
yep,
lawsuit is still open. We don't know what's going to happen. There are resources that are earmarked for Black women that may be going away, that I think definitely will be going away. DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. I watch a lot of conservative stuff on social media just to keep up with what's happening. One of the big things that they're pointing out is diversity, equity, and inclusion, and ESG is hurting the bottom line. Once, if and once they prove that these things are hurting the bottom line,
it's
DEI
over.
is going to be gone. It's going
It's
to be
over.
out. And in fact, when people see you at that point, they see you as a Black woman, they're going to be less likely to hire you because they don't want to be accused of hiring you just for
Yeah.
diversity,
Yes.
unless you have your networks. Unless people are like, no, I know Deanne personally. She's in here because she's top 10% and she's the best and we need her.
Yep. And actually, a
So,
lot of jobs I've gotten are basically, just to confirm what you said, that actually is how I got a lot of jobs in the corporate world and are sitting here
yes,
as secretary of the board with 9 figures of responsibility today. All that came by recommendation.
exactly. Exactly. So that is why I keep pushing my Fab Four. And somebody was saying it before. Thank you for my Fab Four. Demure was saying this. Yes. I just don't know how else to say it to you. So I just have to keep repeating, repeating the same thing because this Black wealth going to zero, like
That's the thing.
it's going to be happening. The question is that going to be your family? It
Yes.
doesn't have to be your family. The other final thing that I will say is Jay-Z had this song where he rapped like, what's more powerful than one billionaire, two? I
Mm.
don't know if you all remember that. And Yvette Carnell, who I disagree with on certain things, she said that's a dumb statement. Ooh,
Yeah.
bless you.
I spring
Yvette
allergies
Car
bad.
sorry.
Sorry.
Yvette Carnell said, no, what's more powerful than one Black billionaire is a strong Black middle class. And
True.
I'm going to convert that to I would rather see a million Black women with a very strong, solid $200,000 salary and a stable household than to have two Oprahs out
Yep.
there. We
Because
don't
math
need to
alone. Yeah.
Yes, we don't need two Oprahs. We do better with a million of us making 200,000 a year. If you want to have children, if you want to be married, having that in a stable environment, in a mentally healthy and physically healthy environment, that is always what I'm pushing for you. And ultimately, for us to have our resources together so that you can make a move if and when you're ready to do so.
Mhm.
And look, that is it, ladies. That is it. So, hey, it's me. Thank you so much. You're saying you're always distracted, but I bring you back on track. I really appreciate you saying that. Abundance is here as well. Abundance, we're about to head out. We're about to head out.
That's the replay, y'all.
Yes, catch the replay. Thank you so much, ladies. Enjoy your week. I'll be back sometime this week. Take care. Thank you, Deanne, for being my guest.
You're
And
welcome.
I will talk with you ladies soon. Don't forget to hit the like button on your way out. Bye.
All right.